Mama Uka was walking carefully along a muddy village road. The early morning sun cast a faint golden glow on the wet earth, but it offered no warmth. Her bare feet dodged the deeper puddles, her faded wrapper hitched up as high as modesty allowed. A threadbare scarf covered her gray-streaked hair, and her thin blouse clung damply to her skin. Balanced on her head was a raffia basket, empty but still awkward to carry as it wobbled with each careful step she took. She muttered quietly to herself, prayers mixed with sighs of frustration. God, give me strength, this life no easy. The night's rain had turned the already bad road into a brown river of thick sludge. Each step felt heavier than the last. Just then, a roar split through the quiet. An engine, loud and fast. Mama Uka instinctively stepped closer to the bushy edge of the road. Her heartbeat quickened. A white Mercedes-Benz saloon car came into view, gleaming even under the village dust, cutting through the path like it owned it. The driver didn't slow down. In a split second, a tidal wave of muddy water shot up from the road and crashed into Mama Uka. She gasped. The water drenched her completely, her wrapper, her scarf, even the basket on her head, now soaked and dripping. Her face was a mask of shock, her lips trembling as cold, dirty water ran down her body. Her hands dropped to her sides, her dignity lay in tatters. The car screeched to a halt a few feet ahead. The driver's side door flung open, and out stepped a young woman, tall, elegant, and proud. She wore a short designer gown that hugged her curves, heels that shouldn't be anywhere near a muddy road, and sunglasses that screamed luxury. Her name was Princess. Princess looked back and saw the soaking old woman. For a moment, her brow twitched. Was it recognition? Regret? No. She tilted her head back and let out a loud, mocking laugh. See you! As a poor woman you are, you should know your place, she said, walking a few steps toward Mama Uka, inspecting her like she was a dirty animal. When people like us are passing, you're supposed to vanish from the road. Do you want to stain my car with your poverty? A few passers-by had stopped, some hawkers, a young boy with firewood, a woman with plantain on her head. All stared. No one spoke. Mama Uka said nothing. She didn't curse. She didn't shout. She simply stepped forward, closer to Princess, and stared long and hard at her. It wasn't hatred. It wasn't even anger. It was something deeper. A quiet sorrow that pierced through Princess's pride for a moment. Uncomfortable, Princess turned away. Rubbish. She walked back to her car, got in, slammed the door, and zoomed off with another spray of mud. Her laughter echoed behind her. Mama Uka slowly turned and walked away, her wet wrapper clinging to her legs. Her steps slower now, the weight of insult heavier than the mud beneath her feet. That afternoon, Princess reclined on her velvet couch in the luxurious living room, scrolling through her phone lazily. A smile played on her lips as she dialed her best friend, Nkiru. "Guess what just happened?" she said, giggling into the receiver. "What again?" Nkiru replied, her tone laced with amusement and mild curiosity. "I just soaked one old poor woman in muddy water," Princess said, bursting into laughter. "It was hilarious. You should have seen her face. She looked like a wet chicken." Nkiru gasped, then chuckled. "You're mean, girl, but that's classic you. Mad woman. Don't mind the dirty woman," Princess said dismissively. "She should have disappeared from the road the moment she heard my car coming. These village people don't know their place." "You're something else," Nkiru said with a snort. "One day in, your mouth will put you in trouble." Princess rolled her eyes. "Please, nothing can touch me. I'm untouchable." Later that evening, Princess joined her father, Chief Ufamba, at the grand dining table. The chandelier overhead bathed the room in soft golden light. A long row of servants stood nearby, ready to attend to their every need. "How was your day, my princess?" Chief Ufamba asked, reaching for his glass of red wine. "Interesting as always, Daddy," Princess replied with a satisfied grin, slicing into her grilled steak. "Another fabulous day as usual." Chief Ufamba smiled. "Good to hear. I'll be traveling to London tonight. Big meeting with the new investors. This deal could triple our revenue." "Wow, that's huge," Princess said. "Yes, just try to behave yourself while I'm away," he added. "Don't spend too much money." Princess laughed. "Daddy, you know we're too rich to go broke. Besides, money is not our problem. In fact, sometimes I think we have too much of it. Chief Ufamba chuckled and shook his head. That's my girl. Just remember, respect and wisdom are greater than riches. Of course, Daddy, she said with a wink, though her heart took none of it seriously. The next morning, around 10 a.m., Princess's phone began to ring shrilly, interrupting her sleep. Still drowsy, she groaned, stretched her arm toward the nightstand, and blindly picked up the phone. Hello? Daddy? She murmured, yawning and rubbing her eyes. Turn on the TV, channel 7, right now, her father's voice commanded sharply. She sat up, confused. Why? What's the problem? Weren't you supposed to be in the air by now? Just do it, he snapped. Sensing urgency, Princess tossed off her silk duvet and reached for the remote. She turned on the flat-screen television mounted on her wall. The moment the screen lit up, her heart skipped a beat. Breaking news. Nigerian billionaire Chief Ufamba loses entire business empire to international scam syndicate. Billions vanish overnight. Company assets frozen. Properties under seizure. Her mouth fell open. No, 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 she whispered, grabbing the remote with trembling hands. The room spun. She felt like the floor beneath her was sinking. Just then, her phone rang again. It was her father. Daddy, she cried. Is this real? What happened? This must be a mistake. I don't even know what to say, Chief Ufamba replied, his voice hoarse and defeated. I trusted them. They looked legitimate, but they were fraudsters. They scammed me completely. Everything is gone. All our accounts are frozen. The businesses, estates, cars, all seized. I'm stranded here in London. I can't even pay for my hotel room. Princess gasped in horror. But our mansion? The house? Leave that house now. I'm serious. The bank will be there any moment. Pack what you can and get out before they arrive. Still barefoot, she ran downstairs in panic. As she opened the front door, flashing lights from police vans and black SUVs greeted her. Bank officials and security personnel were already swarming the compound. Madam, you need to evacuate the premises immediately, one officer said firmly. She dashed back upstairs and flung open her closet. She grabbed her favorite jewelry box. Drop that, another officer barked. All valuables in this house are now federal property. Tears streaming down her face, Princess grabbed her small handbag, stuffed in her phone and a few clothes, and walked out slowly. Behind her, the gates shut with a cold metallic clang. The mansion, her palace, was no longer hers. She called in Kiru, once, twice, 10 times. No answer. Her fingers trembled as she tried again, pacing by the roadside under the scorching afternoon sun. Sweat clung to her neck. Her designer dress, once a symbol of power, now clung limply to her frame, stained and dusty. Finally, after what felt like forever, Nkiru answered. Her voice was cautious, guarded. Hello? Babe, please, I'm in serious trouble, Princess said, her voice cracking. Everything is gone. Daddy's company, the house, the money, all of it. I have nowhere to stay. Can I come stay with you for a while? There was a long, uncomfortable pause. Then Nkiru said coldly, Princess, my family has warned me about you. They told me not to associate with you anymore. I'm sorry. I can't help you. Please don't call me again. The line went dead. Princess stared at her phone screen in disbelief. Her chest tightened. Her lips quivered. She tried other contacts, people who once begged for her attention, who lined up to be seen with her at parties, who called her Queen P. One after the other, they ignored her calls. Some picked and offered shallow excuses. A few even blocked her number. By nightfall, Princess found herself sitting on the pavement outside a supermarket, arms wrapped around her stomach. Hunger gnawed at her belly like a rat in a sack. She had never experienced this kind of emptiness, not even once in her life. Her manicured nails were now chipped and dirty. Her once silky weave was tangled and dull. Her lips were dry. She hadn't bathed properly in 3 days. On the third day, while wandering near the market with weak legs and sunken eyes, she heard a familiar voice. Princess, she turned, startled. It was Favor, their former cook, the one she had fired 2 weeks earlier for bringing her lukewarm juice. Is that really you? Favor gasped, hurrying toward her. What happened to you? Tears spilled down Princess's cheeks. We lost everything. The house, the money, the cars. I haven't eaten in days. Favor's expression softened immediately. Oh my God, come with me. She led her to a nearby kiosk and bought her a plate of rice and a sachet of water. Princess devoured it hungrily, as if it were gold. "What really happened?" Favor asked gently. "My dad got into business with international fraudsters. They scammed him. Now everything's gone." Favor frowned. "Your dad is smart. This kind of downfall doesn't just happen overnight. Is there anyone you might have wronged? Spiritually?" Princess hesitated, then whispered, "Well, there was this old woman I splashed muddy water on. I mocked her instead of apologizing." Favor's eyes widened. "You what? You need to find that woman. She might have cursed you." "I don't even know where she lives." Favor stood. "I know someone who might help. But first, let's go and see my pastor." At the church, the air was thick with quiet reverence. Pastor Mike sat behind his wooden desk, his Bible open, his eyes gentle but discerning. Favor and Princess sat across from him, one filled with concern, the other with shame. They explained everything. The sudden collapse of Chief Ufomba's empire, the lost fortune, the hunger, and the desperation. Throughout the narration, Pastor Mike said nothing. He listened with his eyes closed, nodding slowly as he absorbed every word. When they finished, he rose, placed his hand on Princess's bowed head, and began to pray. His voice was soft but firm, filled with spiritual weight. After a few moments, he stopped, opened his eyes, and looked directly at her. "I see darkness surrounding you," he said. "Closed doors everywhere. It is not just bad luck. Someone cried out against you from a place of pain, and heaven responded." Princess began to sob uncontrollably. "It's true, sir," she confessed through her tears. "I mocked an old woman. I drenched her in muddy water and laughed at her. I never imagined it would come to this." Pastor Mike shook his head solemnly. "The elderly carry weight in the spirit realm. Their tears are not ignored. You must find her. Only she can release the words she spoke, or the pain she felt. Delay no further. Go now." Without wasting time, Princess and Favor left the church, but the search for Mama Uka proved difficult. Now dressed in torn clothes, Princess faced a new world of rejection. When she asked questions, people turned away or stared with suspicion. Some gave her wrong directions out of spite. Her appearance, once admired, now made her invisible. Finally, a kind young man overheard her. "You're looking for Mama Uka?" he asked. "She lives across the river, deep inside the waterside settlement. It's not easy to reach, but I can take you." They climbed into a canoe. As they glided across the brown water, Princess's eyes widened. Stilt houses, floating schools, and makeshift markets floated all around them. Poverty clung to everything, and it humbled her. When they arrived at the compound, a woman met them at the entrance. "You're too late," she said softly. "Mama Uka died 2 days ago. She came home crying, said the world was unkind. She never woke up." Princess dropped to her knees, overwhelmed with guilt. I came to beg, to apologize. I didn't mean to. I didn't know." With no home and no one left to call, Princess wandered aimlessly back into the city. Her feet ached from days of walking. Her body was weary, her soul even more so. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, but worse was the emptiness inside. As she neared the familiar noise of the market, she paused in front of a run-down kiosk to rest. There, sitting hunched on the sidewalk with his head bowed, was a man in a once expensive, now soiled suit. His shoes, once polished to perfection, were now torn and dusty. His shoulders sagged like a man carrying the weight of a world lost. It was her father, Chief Ufomba. "Daddy," she whispered, her voice cracking. He looked up slowly, and their eyes met. For a moment there were no words, just pain. Then both broke down in tears. "Daddy, I did something terrible," Princess said through sobs, kneeling beside him. "This collapse, it might be my fault." He blinked at her, confused. "I mocked an old woman. I splashed her with mud and laughed at her. A pastor said she may have cursed us. And now she's dead." Chief Ufomba stared at her in stunned silence, his pride, his empire, all reduced to this moment of reckoning. Finally, in a broken voice, he asked, "Can you take me to that pastor?" Together they went. Pastor Mike looked at the fallen giant and his repentant daughter and said, "She's gone. Now your only hope is divine mercy. Fast, pray, seek forgiveness, and let your daughter right her wrongs." Days turned into weeks. Princess, once proud and unreachable, now walked the streets with humility. She went from door to door, seeking out people she had mocked, insulted, or dismissed when life was good. Some were surprised to see her, others skeptical, but her apologies were sincere. She no longer spoke with arrogance. Her heart had changed, softened by suffering and reflection. She and her father took Pastor Mike's words seriously. They fasted, sometimes 3 days at a stretch. They prayed every morning and night, crying out for mercy. No more lavish meals or expensive clothing. They lived simply now, in a small, rented room behind a mechanic's shop. Slowly, they began helping others, even when they had little. They handed out bread to beggars at the bus park and volunteered at local orphanages, sharing stories of hope and redemption. One day, an unexpected call came. A former business associate of Chief Ufamba, who had long distanced himself after the collapse, offered him a minor consulting role in a small logistics firm. It wasn't the wealth of the past, but it was a new beginning. Princess also found work in a local clothing store. She folded shirts, arranged shoes, swept the floors. It was hard, but it taught her discipline and grace. One afternoon, as she was sweeping outside the shop, she saw 2 rich teenagers bullying a younger girl whose face was covered in mud. Princess ran over, helped the girl up, and gently wiped her face. "Don't let anyone make you feel small," she whispered. "I was once like them. Now I know better." Moral lesson: pride goes before a fall. Never look down on the poor. The ones you mock today may be the ones God uses to test your heart. Princess's story reminds us that everything can change in a moment. Wealth, beauty, status, all are fleeting. But humility, kindness, and a heart of compassion will stand the test of time. Forgiveness may not undo all the damage, but it can open the door to redemption.
Thank you for watching. Tell us your opinion in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chukwudi Studio at Chukwudi.